If you are sick and tired of the grocery store prices that are going on right now, I get it. I completely understand. It's ridiculous how expensive some basic items are. But I've got good news and possible solutions that can help you. Years ago when I started raising and growing our own food, it had nothing to do really with being a gardener. As a matter of fact, I still don't consider myself a gardener. I consider myself a homesteader. I am not suggesting you go off-grid, buy someplace out in the bush in Alaska and be completely self-sufficient. Here's what I suggest you do. Most people have room to plant food in their yards. Most people. Now, if you're a balcony person because you live in an apartment, that's a different story. But if you have a general backyard with 20 feet space, just a square or something, or 20 by 40 like this garden is here, you'll be shocked at how much food you can actually grow. So what I would do is write down every single thing that you think you eat consistently or you consistently buy from the grocery store if you don't grow things on your own, and then next to it put a mark if you think you're capable of growing it yourself and if it grows well in your area. I want to show you just a few examples we have right here in this garden that have saved us thousands of dollars over the year once you add it all up. It's not going to seem that substantial when I show you just like our beans or our strawberries or our tomatoes. But when you add all that stuff up, pounds and pounds and pounds and pounds of produce throughout the growing season, that's thousands of dollars because A, it's organic, so it's better for you and it's more expensive at the store. And then two, you have the satisfaction of doing it yourself, not having to depend on a very bad market with inflation and overpriced groceries from the store. Not to mention, it's really nice going into your basement or your freezer or wherever you preserve your food and just grabbing stuff off the shelf rather than having to run into town or to the grocery store. Let's talk about these green beans right here. I have a quart-sized bag of green beans right here in front of me. We have 8 feet of green beans growing right there. Another 8-foot section of green beans growing right here. Green beans growing on this trellis. I think it looks pretty cool. And last but not least, we've got this 18-foot section of green beans right over here. So we have a lot of space of growing green beans, but they're pole beans, so they literally grow up anything they can climb on. A lot of the green beans ended up being this size and this size right here, so I'll have to come out and harvest more. Here's another good sized one right there. After our first harvest alone, we had 25 quart bags of green beans. Now let's say they average $4 a bag and you have 25 of them. In one harvest, one day coming out here, I had $100 of green beans that I picked from our small backyard garden that most people can fit in their backyard. And they're going to keep producing, and I'm going to come out every other day or every third day and pick beans until the season ends toward the end of September for us here in Wisconsin. This is a zucchini. It's a pretty good sized one. We don't eat zucchini too much in stir fry like some people do, but what my wife does is makes really good zucchini bread. And you don't need a lot of zucchini in order to make bread. I don't know what the ratio is. Just a couple plants of zucchini can produce 8, 9, 10 of these. They don't take up too much room. The plants get relatively big, but just by having a few of these will give us some kind of sweet treat, some kind of dessert like zucchini bread for the rest of the year until we plant more of these the following season. Here's one of our zucchini plants right here. We've already harvested 2 zucchini. We have one more pretty big one growing back there, as you can see. The plant takes up a lot of space, not gonna lie, but you do get quite a bit of fruit from one zucchini plant if it does well. Next crop, again, as an example, are these cabbages. Look how big that cabbage is. Right there, that's going to create a ton of sauerkraut. Sauerkraut is super healthy, especially for your gut. It's something we love eating, and the sauerkraut we get in the store doesn't taste very good. So we like canning our own sauerkraut. We try to can about 30 quarts every single year. So far, we've canned 13. As you can tell, there's an empty space there, 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 and there, and one over there. We've given some cabbage away. We also eat it fresh in salads and tacos and things like that. And this is what it looks like when it's canned. In about 4 weeks, it's gonna be ready to go. Once we get to about 30 or 40 quarts, just like this, we're gonna stop because we'll have enough to get us through the year. Now we don't have to buy this from the store. The seed packet cost us $2, and we still have seeds left over for next year. So my point is, for $2, you can have all the cabbage for the entire year. You go to the store, it's gonna cost you $2, $3, $4, $5 for one cabbage head, or you can plant 18 to 20 like we do every year for $2. Actually less than that, because we're probably going to use the same seeds next year that are still left in the packet. These are our strawberry plants. We've got a small raised bed right here and one behind me that I happen to be sitting on. These strawberries right here originally came from 2 plants. we bought at the farmer's market. They've taken over this bed. Now we probably have 12 to 15 plants just here that are going to produce fruit for us. They've already produced fruit in June. Then we've got some back here that are also going to produce fruit. That's how fast they grow and expand with their runners, and we just kind of let them do their own thing, and we're quite happy with the results we've had just in these 2 little beds. And you can do the same thing too in just a little raised bed like this. Almost everybody eats potatoes. I've got about 10 feet of potatoes here in this raised bed, just in this area alone. Got some volunteer potatoes growing over there. We needed more space, so I sectioned off 6 by 6 right here. Potatoes are growing right over here. These are all volunteer potatoes. Look at these plants, how they've just taken over right here all the way out into the path and then back in over there. We'll harvest those later. They're definitely not ready right now. Walking over this section of the garden, we've got about maybe 4 feet of potatoes right here, carrots on the end, potatoes just right here, amongst other kinds of things we're growing there. And this one over here, we've got 4 by 4, so 16 square feet of potatoes that are doing really well just right here. Last but not least, every year we grow potatoes in these 6 grow bags, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, over top of our septic tank, which is why they're in grow bags, and they're also easy to harvest. These have pretty much been done for a while now. You can see how the plants have died back. At any time, I can harvest these, and we're going to have potatoes starting now, and the potatoes that we have usually last into March the following year. You might not have enough produce to last you from one season all the way to the next season, depending on how you preserve them. You can can potatoes, we just choose not to. But if this cuts back on your grocery bill $100 a month, that's $1,200 a year. Let's say it's $400 every time you go to the grocery store, but now it's $300 because you grew some of your own food. Next year, because you're getting better and wiser and you're more selective with which crops you grow because you know exactly what you eat in your diet, then it gets cut in half from $400 to $200. This is how you beat these silly prices at the grocery stores, because the people that are in charge of all this, they really don't care. They're out there to make money. They're not there with your interest. So you need to start thinking, how can I take care of myself, my family? And these are really great ways to do that. Start with 6, 7 crops that you know you're going to eat because they're on your grocery list every single week, and grow them because you eat a lot of them, they're good for you, and because you know you're going to save a lot of money in the process. So I'm a homesteader, I'm a food grower. I really don't like the term gardener because too many gardeners just putz around the garden. They do it because it's beautiful or it's a fun hobby, and there's nothing wrong with that, but that's not what we do here. We do things because we want a big, beautiful harvest. The name of this channel is Together We Harvest. We harvest maple syrup, we harvest firewood, we harvest natural things out in the woods that grow just right here on our property. We harvest food, obviously, right here. We harvest eggs. We've done meat chickens before. We've done a lot of things that we harvest, and it's all about having a big harvest at the end of the season. That is our one goal and our one mission, and we hope to pass that information along to you so that you can have big, beautiful harvests at the end of your season as well. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.